Hi there, this is Lee, and I just did a video about the brand new Congress, the effort to heavily recruit people to enter into office in 2018 to contest every seat that comes open, representing a progressive type of politics. My interpretation is that they are seeking people who have never held office before or sought to hold office, and it appears that they're trying to recruit in a nonpartisan way, that they're not preferring Democrats or Republicans, that they are open to independents and third parties, which I actually prefer. I have a preference for independent and third party entry into Congress because bipartisanship between Democrats and Republicans have brought nothing but harm to the American electorate in general. Whether it's a type of independence shown by Bernie Sanders or a type of independence shown by Donald Trump, masquerading as a Republican, Bernie Sanders being an independent masquerading as a Democrat, or a third party type of Jill Stein or Libertarian or even Constitution Party. So that's what Brand New Congress is attempting to do. And I immediately thought, since they are asking people to nominate, I said, well, maybe I'll nominate Jill Stein. She was the presidential candidate for the Green Party who has held down ballot position as a part of the town council or the city council in Lexington, Massachusetts. But the criteria for brand new Congress is this person has to have not sought public office, and Jill Stein has sought public office several times. And then before I even read that criteria, I said, well, let me check out what the scene is in Massachusetts. There's a Senate seat, and then, of course, all the congressional seats come open. In 2018, Elizabeth Warren is up for vote in 2018, and then all the congressmen in Massachusetts are up for vote. There's probably other state house and things like that are up for voting and municipal positions. But I was looking for what was going at the congressional level or the federal level. And I've had issues with Elizabeth Warren. I would say that her maybe giving the appearance that she was Native American and the ambiguity and the questioning of that, her inability to actually prove her credentials that she actually was Native American, and it being important because she is taking advantage of work and education opportunities specifically set aside for people of Native American descent. And she has not been able to prove that she is part of the nation, the Cherokee Nation. She refuses to meet with them, and they don't recognize her as being part of their organization or their tribe. And that she was silent when it came to Standing Rock, when her voice was needed most of all. She said nothing. And so, this, and then her non-endorsement of Bernie Sanders, and her then endorsement of Hillary Clinton, and her vigorous defense of Hillary Clinton. So I said maybe Jill Stein needs to run for Elizabeth Warren's seat. And then I went to this government tracker. It just tracks different, people in the Congress, and I looked up Elizabeth Warren's page. And she does have her progressive credentials, despite some misgivings about certain issues that I felt that she wasn't strong on or in. She does have her credentials, as progressive there when you get past certain other things. That her votes are here, the committees that she's held, and she still holds the legislation that she sponsored. And let's see, some of her key votes. So she's actually been productive. She's been on the right side of history more than not. And so I said, we might have to overlook some things. And it's a choice. The people of Massachusetts are actually the ones that have to make decisions on that. But coming from a practical point of view, it may be that Elizabeth Warren is what's needed right now for her track record of what she has done so far as a member of the Senate for the state of Massachusetts. And then I looked up I said, well, maybe Jill Stein should run for a House seat. And it looked to me, I examined the record of the person who holds the House seat, and she looks like she's doing what she's supposed to do. And so, as a member of the Green Party and as a presidential candidate, I do think that Jill Stein ran a very brilliant campaign. There were some issues with endorsing people of other parties, such as Bernie Sanders, which might have been a problem if Bernie Sanders had gone through the primaries and became the Democratic nominee. How could Jill Stein justify herself as the Green Party presidential candidate when she endorsed another presidential candidate? It would have, created problems. Other problems occurred instead that Bernie Sanders did not make it through the primary. But the recount effort after the election concluded, I think that's when the real problems started with the recount effort and how that was conducted, that there were other choices that could have been made where the Green Party would not have been dragged in to something that was kind of dicey if other things had been maybe more equality in the choices made during the recount. And so, I'm not sure if Jill Stein has a public a way forward in the political arena as a representative of Massachusetts, or maybe what her decisions will be. I don't see a way forward, but strange things happen all the time. That maybe she'll run as a Green senator against Elizabeth Warren, or run as a Green candidate for House against the Progressive Democrat, or if she'll forego politics altogether. I do think that despite what happened during the recount, I do think that she does have a political future. I'm not sure what it is or where it will be, but I do think that there is a way forward. Definitely the Green Party will survive. The Green Party was not officially a sponsor of that recount effort. It was separate. It was the Jill Stein for President campaign. And so there are Greens running in 2018, and hopefully there will be some running in the state of Massachusetts, that if they feel a need to contest seats in Massachusetts, then they will. There are seats being contested for 2017 in New Jersey. And then also there's someone contesting a seat, Kenneth Mejia, out in California for 2017. And there may be more Greens running for office in 2017. Definitely 2018, every seat, if it's not being contested by independent or other third party, I hope that there is a Green. But Govtrack, and I'll post a link in the description, is how you can really figure out who needs to be contested. You can examine the record of the person, whether they're a member of the House or the Congress, and just get an overall profile. There's also another website that I think is worthy of interest. It's Opensecrets, where you can examine someone's background and see who's giving them money for their campaigns, who's contributing, who's donating money to their cause. I looked up the private prison industry to see who is receiving money from the private prison industry. At the top of the list are mostly Republicans from southern states like Texas and Florida, and then Alabama, Tennessee, towards the top of the list. And then you see some western state Republicans as well. Further down on the list, you do see Democratic senators and House members receiving donations from the private prison industry. Donald Trump received about $100 something. Hillary Clinton received about $600 something. Libertarian Gary Johnson received several $1,000s. Paul Ryan, several thousand, more than $5,000. That was donated to Paul Ryan's campaign from the private prison industry. So some more than others, but you can see, pharmaceutical companies in terms of, Cory Booker, where his vote, that seems such an aberration, and such a detriment to the American people. You can look and see that he's received money, quite a bit of money from the pharmaceutical industry. So you can use Opensecrets to tell a lot about your existing Congress members, and then go to Govtrack and see what their votes are. So you can compare and contrast and see, like, well, you know what? Their seats coming open, I think they're going to get replaced. So this is the advantage to the American voter. There's nowhere to hide. Um, you can hide. Some of them are hiding behind voice votes when it's possible, but votes that go on the record, we can tell who voted for what. We can use these online sources to really look at our politicians up close and personal, and then see for a fact why we're paying so much in prescription drugs, why we're paying so much for health care, or why some of us don't have health care, why we're paying so much for defense, why there's so much targeting of certain people for mass incarceration. It's all here. I'm going to wish you luck in your research, and hopefully that will influence and inform your vote for 2018. Good luck.